How do we make our graphs more accessible? Accessibility is woven into all of my Dataviz trainings, but I get this question a lot, which is a good thing. I'm so glad people care about accessibility. So I wanted to make a talk that was focused just on accessibility and quick wins, because there's a misconception that accessibility is going to take all day. That's false. There are absolutely some quick edits that we can make to get immediate impact. So what you're about to hear is a portion of a talk that I gave at Good Tech Fest back in spring 2021 about quick wins for accessibility in Dataviz. Enjoy. Legends and labels. We did reading level. Do we want to do numeracy level real quick? I think so. Let's do numeracy level and then maybe a case study. Sound good? Yeah, and maybe some Q&A too. All right, let's go to number 9, numeracy level. A little bit different from what we just talked about with reading level. Numbers. How do you make sure the numbers are easy to understand? So write this down in your notes. We're going to lower it. We're going to lower the numeracy level. But how? How do we do that? Okay, let's get into the how. Oh, Matt, did you do a vote of all of these? Number 5 was the winner. We did that. And we did 9, 8, 10. Okay, maybe we'll get to icons too. Maybe we'll do some icon work since that was a popular one. Nobody voted for 4. What was number 4? Text rotation. Oh, no worries. Just aim for horizontal text. I guess that's not a sexy topic, but I love that topic because it's speedy. Okay. Thank you, Matt. That's amazing. And I love the little bar chart you've made out of well, you'll know how old you are. If you call those pound signs, then you're officially a geriatric millennial like me or older. And if you call them a hashtag, then you are a cool kid for sure. Okay. Thank you, Matt. That's awesome. All right, let's get back to lowering the numeracy level and how we do that. It goes like this. There are a couple stages or ladder rungs. Even if you only move one stage, it's still a win. So if you start with decimal places like 33.26 and you round that, that's a win. Celebrate it. If you go from rounded percentages to fractions, that's a win. Celebrate it. And then the final one, the best practice would be putting those fractions in a sentence, like 1 in 3. You can't say 1 in 3 every single time for every single project, but you can move someplace along this path, okay? Let's look at a real life example. Well, real life kind of, based on a real project, but anonymized. So let's pretend you've got a simple donut chart like this. You've just got your 2 slices, check. You've got your dark slice and your light slice. And your sentence you want to write is something like 33.26% of participants agreed that the program was a good use of time. So that's your starting place, right? 33.26. I used to keep in all the 0.26s because what did I used to use for my data analysis? I used SAS as an undergrad and graduate student. I used SPSS as an undergrad and graduate student. Now I use Excel mostly for data analysis. And I feel like anytime you're doing like, equals this numerator out of this denominator, it always gives us all these decimal places, but that doesn't mean that the final product gets to keep these. So one improvement would be rounding it to 33%. Or even better, turn it into a fraction, 1/3 of participants. And the gold standard for lowering the numeracy level, 1 in 3. I was reading a study the other day and it was talking about, it was some type of like numeracy index, numeracy scores for US adults that apparently we only read at a 6 to 8 level. We mostly understand 1 in 3s. Very few people understand percentages, actually, which is really problematic for our data scenarios. Put yourself in their shoes, though. We're throwing out all this jargon at our audiences all the time, and they're like busy working on policy projects, running programs, leading nonprofits and foundations. And we're like, blah, 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 percentage, blah, 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 percentage change, percentage point change, percentile. It is really hard for somebody to define a percentile, even among like the fellow data people, the fellow technical audiences. A lot of us have to like think like, okay, a percentile, you line up everybody lowest to highest, and then you count over how, like that is, you're like thinking way back in your head. So we're going to stick with good old 1 in 3 whenever possible. However, we can go even further with the graph type. So if you're doing something like 1 in 3, you could show people 1 in 3, but not with the cookie cutter people. We're not going to use the gingerbread people anymore. Actually, here's your bonus icon lesson. This is most of what we're going to talk about in the icon section anyway. We're not doing gingerbread people because they're gendered. Men don't have to wear pants. Women don't have to wear dresses. Some people don't identify as men or women. So we're not going to do the gingerbread people for gendered reasons. But also, what about in your data set when you don't know if people are men or women? Maybe you don't always collect that data. You just know like survey respondents in general or focus group participants in general. We don't want to always use the man symbol or the woman symbol. So I used to tell people, just use the unisex head and shoulders, but it looks so plain, doesn't it? I think it looks overly simplistic. My guidance nowadays would be use real people. Remind people that data is about people. It's not just spreadsheets. It's not just about decimal places. Data is about real human beings. This is actually a font. If you'd want to try this yourself, I'm going to X out of this and show you what it looks like. So here's a text box, right? You know that. Just got the 1 in 3 colored and bold. I've got the other key part, good use of time, colored and bold. And this is also a text box. And you're like, a text box? And what are you talking about? It is a font, a symbol font called We People. So you type in any random numbers off, random letters off your keyboard, and you make one of them dark compared to the other light ones. 1 in 3, 1 in 4, 2 out of 5, things like that. We're not going to go with like 13 out of 47. We're not doing weird fractions. We're doing everyday simple fractions is when this applies. So you type in your random letters, you change the color, you make them really big. This is font size 175 on my slide. And then you change them to the We People font, WEE, miniature people. This is a free font, but you have to download it. So just go to Google, say download We People font, and you'll find either the .otf open type font or .ttf true type font. That's what it's not like a .doc, like a Word file. I just want to tell you what the file extensions are you should look for with fonts. You just download We People, and then you're going to have it in your computer and you can use it. You've heard of symbol fonts, you know, like Webdings, Wingdings. It's in that family of symbol fonts. Kimberly says, I was explaining the pound sign to my 9-year-old yesterday. Yeah. Yep. Patricia says, love that, geriatric millennial. I don't love the term geriatric millennial, but apparently in the headlines, that's what the 35 to 40 crowd. I'm a 1985 baby. So apparently I had a geriatric pregnancy. Now I get to be a geriatric millennial. My goodness, I preferred elder millennial. Okay. We have, only 5 or 6 minutes left. Not even fair. Okay, let's go. We did a little bit of icon info. Let's do a case study, final wrap-up activity. And if you have any questions that you want me to address, let me know. Ask me anything accessibility, anything Dataviz, we can get to those. But I've got one final exercise so you can practice, right? Practice putting into practice some of the things that we've talked about over the past almost hour together. So here's a before graph based on a real life project anonymized, of course. I changed the industry names at the bottom. I changed the percentages. But the gist of it was I was working with an organization that was running a workforce development program. So people came into this university, people from the community, not university students, and they got resume help. They did mock interviews. A career coach helped them do job searches, like the surveys, what career is best for you, things like that. A workforce development program. And this program had a really basic graph at the beginning. They just wanted to show how many participants were working in each industry just at the start of the program. So I tried to pick a really straightforward topic area so that we wouldn't have to think about the topic too much. I really want to pick on the graph, the terrible, inaccessible graph formats. Let me know in the chat window. This is your almost final chance to participate and weigh in. What do you see that's going wrong here? A lot of these are really dated software settings. Excel has really dated software settings. Tableau does, Power BI does, they all do. They all do this thing with like education, head tilt, or worse, transportation, head tilt, ... You don't even know what it says down there. My goodness. Megan notices the diagonal text. Make it a bar chart so the text is horizontal. Yes, good work, Megan. Liz says, remove the decimals. Like we just talked about, change the labels to not be diagonal. Right, we're aiming for horizontal text only. Andrea says, cut off the category labels. We will keep them, but we're gonna put them in a different spot. Kimberly says, make it a bar chart, order it greatest to least. Or greatest to least. Yep. Stephanie says, change the title. What's the takeaway? Yep. We're going to put the takeaway in the title. Douglas says, maybe reverse the order. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's make sure that whatever's listed first is the thing we want people to look at. So if you want people to look at the biggest category or the smallest that goes first. Okay. So make sure we're intentional about that choice. Daniel says maybe color coding. Teresa says maybe adjust the y-axis to 100%. Yeah, that one's debated a lot in the Dataviz field. I mean, there are whole like blog post rants, podcast debates about this, like where should the axis start and stop? When can you start at 0 or not? Do you have to go up to the max or not? My rule is just label them min and max so our viewer knows our starting point and our ending point. We're not like hiding it in any way. Let's go through this click by click. We've got 3 minutes left. That's just the right amount of time. We're going to rotate it. So to everybody who typed rotate or was thinking about it, we're going to change that column chart into a bar chart. Now we've got horizontal text. Check, one quick win tackled already. Let's keep going. We're going to round those decimal places to whole numbers. Check. That's another quick win. We've just lowered the numeracy level. We didn't talk about this one yet, but I bet you've seen this technique used before. It's a common data storytelling technique where we're focusing our audience on just one thing at a time. We're not going to do this in every scenario. This is like your non-technical audiences, your busy audiences, your audiences that you want to make sure they don't get lost in all the noise. You're like, hey, look here first. Color works like this because people notice dark colors before light colors. So we're not deleting everything else. We're just saying like, look here first. This is an optional edit, but I want to show you this one in case you need it for your non-technical or busy audiences, which is everybody, right? When's the last time you sent a report or a slide deck to somebody and they're like, oh, great, I just have all day to read this? Never, right? Usually people are like rushing from one meeting to the next. All right, let's keep going. I adjusted the title instead of 20. What was it before? Participants working in each industry. I put the takeaway title up there. 20% of participants worked in retail. Let's go even further. Let's do 1 in 5. A fraction put into the sentence. I've got 1 in 5 at the top, but I kept 20% down below. I added icons. You saw a moment ago how I took that donut chart with 1 out of 3 people and I changed it to the we people icons in an attempt to humanize the data. You can also add icons for a boost in memorability. There's a lot of research on icons and symbols showing that they make our audiences more likely to actually remember that they saw the data. Can you imagine we have to actually like focus? That's a goal of a lot of projects. Like, how can people act on the data if they don't even remember that they saw it? So this is an easy win right here. Let's add some icons. There were what, I don't know, 5 or 6 changes, 5 or 6 tiny edits. You add them up, the graph's going to be faster to read. It's going to be a lower numeracy level, probably a lower reading level too, because I got rid of the word industry and changed it to retail. It's going to be more memorable. Even if you only apply one of these techniques, you're going to be better off. Your audience is going to be better off. All right. I almost forgot the ebook so that you can learn all the rest of the quick wins. It is at depictdatastudio.com/accessibility. Click on download the ebook. You're going to get a pop-up window. You might have to scroll down, depends on your screen size if you have to scroll or not. You're going to put in your name and everything, your email address. Do not enter your credit card info. Okay, you don't need to. I've made a coupon code just for this group so you can get a complimentary download. The coupon code is Good Tech Fest. That's it, all one word, Good Tech Fest. The name of the conference. I tried to make it as accessible as possible for you. depictdatastudio.com/accessibility, coupon code Good Tech Fest. And then you'll see all the slides of the things that we didn't have a chance to cover today. I speak a lot about Dataviz and accessibility in particular. So every time I update my slide deck, I update this ebook, and then it'll automatically send you the latest version too with more examples and case studies. Don't forget, connect with me on LinkedIn so we can stay in touch after today. Just Google or search on LinkedIn for Ann K. Emery, and you'll see me. Let me know in our last remaining 2 seconds, any takeaways? Anything really important that you wrote down in your notebook that you want to make sure to remember and apply after today? You don't have to apply everything. I think it's impossible. You know, I don't think out of like the 10 things you learned, I don't think you can apply all of them in your very next graph, but you can always just pick one as a starting point. And then your next graph, you apply another thing, and your next graph, you apply another thing. Oh, Brian, thank you. I came into the presentation late, but what I saw and heard was mind-blowing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Patricia says, thank you. Excellent talk. Great, great, great. It's so nice to see so many familiar names. And I see a couple of you too on your webcams. Amazing. Okay. Melissa says lowering the numeracy level was a takeaway. Great. Daniel says the importance of the reading level stood out. Andrea loved the reminder that data is about real people. Yeah, it is. I know, how cheesy. Let's end on that cheesy note, right? But it is. I know a lot of you came into this work because you like numbers and you like data. We're at a data conference, but also because you want to work with the organizations like making the world a better place. Okay. I'm going to end before I say anything cheesier than that. Please, please, please stay in touch. I'm really easy to find online. Reach out anytime, especially LinkedIn, and enjoy your ebook. All right. Bye, friends. I'll see you later.